too. Welcome to Ideas to Income, the weekly show where I teach you how to build a profitable business that creates a lasting impact in the world. My name is Amelia Fortes. I am a spiritual business mentor and self-love coach, and I specialize in helping coaches, healers, artists, and content creators monetize their natural gifts so that they can create consistent 5K plus months and 20K plus launches from their coaching, healing, content, etc. And I'm really excited because I have a special guest expert here today. She's right here. I don't know where she is on your screen, but she's right above me. So somewhere, CJ Thomas, who I have had the pleasure of connecting with multiple times on social media and on Zoom. Fortunately, she lives in Oregon, so we haven't got to kiki in person yet, but I was so impressed with the way she conducts herself and runs her business and writes her content, and particularly with just the structure and so many words of wisdom that you're going to hear today. And she's the founder of Simply Healthy Marketing. You can find her on Instagram at Simply Healthy Marketing. She's an organic marketing coach and your go-to marketing strategist for all things email and organic growth. And she's actually going to be coming in to guest teach to Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy, a much more deep dive into growing your list organically from an authentic place, and giving you templates and guides. I know Zoe's in here. We love a checklist, guides, checklists, all of that in her authentic marketing toolkit, which we'll share a little bit more about that later, how you can join that. So just think of today, we're going to give an overview of what it takes to build a consistent and resilient business. And I think that's all I have to say for now. CJ, would you like to say anything to introduce yourself to the community?
Sure. I'm just really excited to be here today with everybody that's here that I can see. Hello. I love seeing the beautiful faces, and I'm really excited to get into some ways that we can help you build some sustainability and just feel better about creating a thriving business today. So thank you so much for having me on, Amelia.
Of course. I love, I don't know, just your energy is always like so good. I feel like it's like brings the fire, the air, the earth, all the elements. I just felt so nourished right now when you just said it. Like, yes, really want to help you build something sustainable to last, because that is the goal, you know. I started my business with a lot of fire and passion, and then it's easy to get burned out. And when things don't go the way we want, it's easy to be like, who the fuck's idea was this anyway? Why am I doing this? And so this session is really going to be all about that, how to navigate these different seasons and cycles in business, and also some quick hot tips and actionable takeaways. I'm just looking, my eyes are all everywhere because I'm trying to find my presentation here. So today, well, first I want to know if you're ready. So if you're ready, drop an emoji, drop a ready in the comments. And also, if you're watching this on Facebook Live right now, would love to have you in the Zoom. The Zoom link is right there in the caption. So please come on in. The water is fine. The couch is soft. The panties are soft. The energy is hot. Ready. Okay, we're ready. I love it. Okay, so let me share here. Present. Okay. I haven't learned yet how to start presenting without narrating what I'm doing on the screen. Okay, here we are. So today you will learn the 4 seasons of business and how to navigate each season in any economy. That is how we build consistency. That is how we build resilience. That is how we build self-esteem in what we want. Let me just check the chat. Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, in case there's a question here, like y'all can see my screen, right? Okay, cool. How to avoid seasonal business depression. We're going to talk about what that is. And I want you to know that aligning and celebrating and understanding that each season has a reason and a purpose. No season is bad. when I understand the gifts and how to move through, that is what has led me, or one of the things, many things have led me, but that is one of the things that has really led me to my consistent, I can now say 8 to 10K months, and my very first, second, third, and beyond 20K plus launches. I also have ADHD, so I might just need to pause for a second and reground myself. I will say, yes, business skill and acumen and strategy is required, which I do teach about those things in other episodes. But today is really about honoring and celebrating wherever you're at and learning how to use the gifts of that season and some tips for how to navigate that season. Because when you can align your business with your energy and honor your energy, that is how you can avoid that burnout, that frustration, that stress, that why isn't this working? Okay. However, these sessions will not replace the consistent and persistent action that is required for the long-term transformation of your business. You know, a lot of times we come to something inspirational. I do this all the time where it's like, oh my God, that was so amazing. I'm on fire. And then I'm like, why is nothing happening? You know, a lot of times I end up talking to people one-to-one, my clients, people who are interested in working with me. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And it's like, yeah, I'm not making any sales. Well, did you tell anyone that you're selling something? No. So it does require action to be taken. It does require fear to be faced because these things are scary when you've never done them before. So this session alone, this 1 hour or so alone will not replace that. It will not replace what a deep dive one-to-one mentorship can do for you that will help you gain clarity and make tweaks along the way. And it will not replace the environment and community, the nurturing, supportive environment and community that are essential to maintaining success in business, right? So if you're trying to build a business and you're living in the garage of your family that is like making money from being a musician is bullshit, or that's like coaching, what the hell is that? Why don't you just go be a doctor? That environment, that community is not going to support you. So you do need to come into spaces like this with people who are doing it. I am doing it. I am succeeding. So any of my clients that are like, oh, my mom done and ran her mouth about something about my business or whatever, the spiritual stuff, or, you know, some Jesus people in my family. Now I love Jesus, so don't get me wrong, but like, you know, religious people were like, what is this spiritual stuff you're talking about? And I'm not saying to cut people off, but I'm saying you want to more often be in a community and in a space with people who are actually doing it, because it will give you the evidence that you need in order to make this work. These entrepreneurial streets are crazy. They're crazy. It's hard in these streets. So you want to be around people that are like, yes, it's hard in these streets and we're doing it. Okay. So today is all about surviving to thriving, how to build a consistent and resilient 6-figure business as a coach, healer, artist, or content creator. So who is ready for that? Drop a fire, pop your pussy, twerk, whatever it is you got to do it. And I mean it literally too, because, you know, we want to get into this energy. Okay. We want to get into the energy of success. We're actually in Lionsgate right now. If you're watching this live or today, 8-8 powerful portal. So don't just listen to what I'm saying or what CJ's saying. Don't just take notes. I want you to get activated. Okay. So if you're ready to get activated, let me know. Okay. So we're going to talk about the 4 seasons of business, because when we talk about resilience and consistency, that doesn't mean it's always going to be the same. Life, nature, if the 4 seasons are good enough for Mother Earth, is good enough for me. You're going to go through seasons, okay? And understanding how to navigate those are going to be really important. So what are the 4 seasons of business? I'm going to keep it simple. It's the same 4 seasons that's good enough for Mother Nature: winter, spring, summer, and fall. So why is understanding the 4 seasons important? Why is aligning with the 4 seasons important? I actually would love to tag over to CJ. I know you were this was actually CJ's idea to do this topic for today. I know you're really passionate about it. And I know that in your own life, in your own business, and with your own clients. And same for me too. It's like, how do I navigate this? How do I align? What does that even mean? So would love to, like, how do you feel about this, DJ?
Yeah. So when I think about the seasons of your business, I think about it metaphorically as well as realistically. If we think about the different seasons that we go through throughout the year, there's different ways that you're going to want to show up in your business internally, and there's different things that your people are going to need from you. And when we think about those seasons in terms of that metaphorical sense, you know, we'll get into this more, but there are some times where we're in that slump, and that may feel like those dark days of winter. And then there are times where we feel like we're on top of the world, we're lit, we're ready to go. That might be some of that spring energy or some of that early summer energy. And so I love that comparison because it's something that reminds us that consistency is actually change. That is the one thing that is always constant. And we kind of get this idea that consistency means that we need to be the same way all the time, show up the same way all the time, but that we're humans and that's just not how it really works. So this is why I really love this concept.
Y'all, I want you to jot that gem down. Consistency is actually change. That just lit my whole life up. Thank you for saying that. I needed to hear that. I get to hear that. And honestly, a lot of the stuff I love, reason I love teaching is because especially if you're building your business, we often teach what we need to learn. So like every time I teach, I'm like, ooh, come on, somebody. Who's somebody? It me, I'm somebody. So thank you for saying that. Consistency doesn't mean I'm a robot. It means I'm moving with the changes of the seasons, and it doesn't have to be in alignment with like the calendar seasons. It's whatever's going on for you. I could go through all 4 seasons in a day. Let me tell you. Okay. I had a wintry day this past week. Okay. So, so don't think of it as like, okay, January through March or whatever. Think of it as see how these seasons resonate with you and what shows up for you. And then we'll help you navigate. So thank you so much for that, CJ. Okay, so let's talk about winter because we talked about slump. We talked about the dark blue days. How do you know when you're in winter? Just think about that for a second. I'm going to give you some ideas, but just think about that. How do you know when you're in winter? Well, you know, because something isn't right. Something is not right. I don't know what it is, but it's something. Something isn't right. So maybe building your business, your content, your artwork, promoting yourself, doing the work has been feeling overwhelming, stressful, frustrating, insert other adjectives there. Maybe you have been having some success with something, or you just had a great success, but now you're in this moment where like, you're not making as much money. It doesn't feel as creative, as joyful, or as passionate as it once was. You've lost some steam along the way. Or you're in a place where you're like, I really want this to work, but I'm currently just not able to sustain my lifestyle for my business yet. I was all gung-ho when I started, but like something, basically, something isn't right. Do you have anything to add, CJ, about like how someone can tell when they're in a winter season?
A big piece for me is there's a pull to go inward during that time, but there's also this equal amount of like, I need connection. And I've just noticed that there's kind of this out of balance feeling that can come up where you think about, I know I need to be connecting with my community, with my audience, and at the same time, I've got so much I need to focus on in my own life, whether it's, during the holiday season and you've got to do the family thing, or you're having winter depression. I mean, up here in Oregon, especially as you get further up north, we don't see the sun most of the time, and there's a lot of self-care that needs to come up during that time too. And a lot of times we can forget that our energy dictates the energy in our business. And so during winter time, we may be feeling down and we're thinking, why is my business in a slump? And we're not realizing like it's an internal thing as well.
Ooh, that is so good. And the nugget from that I'm pulling is like, it feels something isn't right, and it can feel uncomfortable because there is such a desire to go inward, but all these external kind of like priorities or obligations or need to do's, like pay my bills and go to work or whatever. It's like, so it's like, so is this you? Drop a winter in the chat, in the comments. Is this you? Have you related to this? Is this where you're at? Are you in a winter? Have you ever been in a winter? We got some winters. Okay. So what do we focus on in the winter? Alignment. And honestly, I love what you said, CJ. I think I want to add to this slide for another time. Alignment and connection. Right? So reconnect, go within, like what CJ was saying, reconnect with your vision and why you started making music, why you started acting, why you started this podcast, why you started this business, why you started coaching, why you started healing. Because, and I feel like when I say that, and even for myself, it's like, well, I know why. But there's a disconnection happening if you're feeling that slump. Because I know for me, when I actually spend the time to like get back into it and reconnect with that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why. And if the why isn't big enough, then it can be easy to disconnect from it. A really important part of winter, though, too, is letting go. There is something you're holding on to. What is it? Now, if we had a few more hours, we could like really dive deeply into this, but I think I just want to plant the seed and leave you with that. What is something, there's something you're holding on to. Is it an old way of being? Is it an old self? Is it the struggle self because you grew up in poverty and all you knew was struggle in your family? And so even though you don't like the struggle is familiar because it's what you grew up with. And so you have this twisted, and I say you, but this was me. I had this twisted love affair, entanglement, a la Jada and August, entanglement with struggle. And I was like, struggle is like my side dude. Like, why do I keep going back? Like, so what is it that you're holding on to? Or maybe it's like an old way of running your business, an old program that you've done, or an old way of working, old habits, whatever it is, whatever the first few things that popped up, look into that. And when available, when possible, find someone who can really, like, even a healer could help with this, a therapist could help, that can really help you release whatever that is and realign with all of who you are. That's what I call your unique self-love blueprint. Realign with all of who you are, help you reconnect to that vision. And sometimes we can do it ourselves, but sometimes we need somebody. We don't exist in isolation. Sometimes we need somebody. Okay, Tracy's saying I'm in winter, something isn't right. Nami's saying feeling a little winter. We got some cool, chill vibes. I do want to go deeper into this, but I think when we keep going, there's something that'll really click for y'all as we go. So, but let's just be with that for a second, because we've got some wintry vibes in here, and I'm sure people watching the replay, it's okay. This awareness can be really powerful. And I know it's uncomfortable, but it can be really powerful to lean into it. Because when it's uncomfortable, we want to lean away. We want to go to our vices. Maybe I just need to work more. Maybe I just need to go to another something, or maybe I just need to spend another $1,000 on another something, or, or go shopping, whatever it is. CJ, any wisdom to add here? I have a feeling you've got something.
Yeah, you're feeling me over here.
I know. I was like, CJ's got something to say. So
And really, it's just because I have been in so many of my own winters. And I usually, when I'm supporting my own clients, it's because they're in a winter of their own. So I just want to validate what you're feeling first and foremost. And also say that while it can be one of the scariest things, sometimes just getting quiet during this time is what will be the most powerful. I remember this metaphor came to me, and when I heard it, it's like it made the most sense and it also blew my mind. But just the idea that when a storm comes, you don't always have to try to fight through the storm. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just sit down, hunker down, and wait it out. And especially when these winter seasons come, it's because there's something under the surface. A lot of that why and that vision might be cloudy right now. And there might be something that you need to let go of. Something that you don't hear a lot of people talk about is like the fact that every business has a lifespan. And so sometimes it might be that it's time for that business to evolve and change. And sometimes it might be that there's aspects of that business that need to be let go. And that can be one of the hardest things to cope with, but it's also something to really look at and just say, is the business that I'm running really aligning to my vision and my why I had when it began? Is it something that is ready to evolve and go to the next level? Do I need to pivot? And the only way to really get clear around that is to get quiet, in my opinion, and just kind of really go inward and listen.
Ooh, that is so good. That is so good. And for those of you that are thinking, well, I haven't even launched yet or haven't even started yet, sometimes the letting go is the old you. Like for me, actually pretty recently, and I've had to do like a new stepping into a new identity with every evolution of my business, even if like the structure of it didn't change, but like I wanted the monetary level to change. And I was like, oh, I'm still holding on to, I'm a newbie who doesn't know what I'm doing. I need to step into like 6-figure plus fucking boss babe, And that was a getting quiet, like you said, and that was an inner activation that had to happen. And a lot of times when we're in winter, and I feel like you might agree with this, DJ, let me know, is we think what's going to remedy it is more action and more like spring stuff. But actually it's like, how about we just stop? And it doesn't have to be for long, but like, even for like a few hours, even for a day, there's like, I can go high octane for a really long time. It's how I'm designed. And so I have to actually be like, do not work for 24 hours. Go somewhere, do something with yourself, go have fun, so it's really important. Get quiet, get still, get internal. And that's where, you can do that yourself. You can go on a vision quest. You can go with a community or a healer, coach or mentor, but healers, therapists are some of my favorites during winter seasons. Just to be like, what's going on? I can't, I like someone else to scratch my back. I don't want to scratch my own back sometimes when it comes to this wintry stuff. So finding support is always a possibility. But after winter must come spring. So even if you are in a wintry state, spring is always right around the corner. And spring might not spring if you're still holding on, or you're still, something else, right? So there's that letting go, that healing, that inner work, that getting quiet that needs to happen. Because a lot of times people will try to make spring, but they haven't fully honored winter. So spring is the energy of ready to launch. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Let's get this popping. You're feeling excited, creative, passionate. You had an idea for a business, or a new program, or a new offer, or a new project. You can't wait to get started. You're like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. I can't wait. So you're open to new ideas, strategies, concepts. You're like in this researching phase where researching and learning feels enjoyable and fun. Like I remember when I first heard about Canva and I was like, oh shit, I could look like a full-blown graphic designer and I just got to like drop and click some things. And I was so excited. And then of course there were times where I was like, Canva, So, but that's not spring. Spring is like, woo, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Any other ways to identify if you're in spring that you have to add to that, CJ?
Yeah, well, so spring is also about the building of energy. And I like to kind of think about a flower and how the flowers actually blossom. They start out as a tight bud, and there's this energy that builds up and then they blossom. And when you think about that metaphor in terms of yourself, like you were saying, Amelia, sometimes you still have a little bit of that winter work to do. And during that time, during winter, I was kind of speaking about getting quiet. There's different techniques that you can put in play when it comes to your marketing and to email and things like that, that can kind of get you ready for this spring aspect and that launch time. And, when you're feeling that spring energy, it's like, I really, really want to get going, but I also think it's a time to just see if you can also tap into patience a little bit. And tap into the strategies that you're building for yourself. And so it's one of those things where I've just known for myself, like, even in spring, I still have to kind of, like, there's a moment in the early springtime where I'm like, okay, I still need to just like take this one step at a time and not go too fast.
Not go ham. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's fun. I love what you said, because what I call that is the tickles of spring. I
Spring
know
tickles,
for
I
me,
love that.
yeah. And like, I am a spring addict, or hello, hi, my name is Amelia. I am a recovering spring addict. I used to be, and we'll talk about this in a sec. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to love it. I hope. So I have started to be like, okay, it's just a tickle of spring. So let's do some little wintry stuff, which we'll talk about that in a bit with some of those tips that you're alluding to. So yeah. So is this you? And I know there's a few of you that are feeling wintry, but like, are there some tickles of spring? Or maybe you launched into winter because you just came from like a really exhausting spring and things didn't really work out. But is this you? Is anybody in spring right now? Drop a spring in the chat if you're feeling springy right now. So what do we focus on in spring? In spring, okay, Cam was living in spring for a little bit, maybe winter now though. I don't know. Did you say you were in winter? Let me know. So yeah, and I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself, but like, also these are not like linear, like we kind of weave in through them. You could feel really spring, and like, I know for me, I'm really spring in the morning and I'm a fuck you winter at night. Okay. So it really just, okay, feeling a little winterish now. Okay. Well, when the tickles of spring come, spring focus is experimentation. You're just like, I don't really know, but we're gonna do it, right? You're gonna try new things. You're gonna be willing to fail. This is also a great time, like when you have all these ideas, because I know for me, I have all these ideas and I'm like, what do I do? How do I make it happen? Right. So what has really helped me when I've been in this spring phase is finding the coach or mentor that is a few steps ahead of me, that can be like, okay, great ideas, but this is how we massage it and put it into place to actually make it happen. But that's going into summer a little bit, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Like, the building blocks are summer. Spring is like ideas. Let's try it. Let's go to that new business conference, or let's listen to that podcast and see those new ideas and stuff like that. But here is an important note, which is what we've been alluding to this whole time. Important note about winter and spring is that, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Most people stay stuck in these two seasons. So for those of you that are feeling wintry, I get the vibe that maybe you had a really fun spring and then burnt out real fast, and now we're in winter. So this is what I call the vicious spring fever, winter blues cycle, which I have a name for it, which I'll tell you after. So even before I go into it, does this resonate? Is this touching on a vibe? Spring fever, winter blues, right? So what it looks like is Yay, I'm so excited. I have a new idea. Everything is awesome. I can't wait to get started. So many ideas. Like, I'm going to launch this business, or I'm going to launch my music, or I'm going to launch my podcast, my YouTube. I'm starting this new acting project. Like, oh my God. Yes, 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 yes. And then so you start doing shit. You feeling good. The pussy is popping, balls to the wall, pussy to the pavement. You're like, oh yeah, I'm researching. I'm looking stuff up. I'm looking up coaches and mentors. We're starting this thing. Maybe even some of you in EMA, you joined EMA feeling spring-like, and now you're kind of like, so then you start doing some stuff, and then something doesn't work. And then you're like, this actually sucks. Nothing's working. I'm so tired. Whose idea was this anyway? Whose idea was this? Yours. It was your idea. But whose idea was this anyway? Screw this. I'm out of here. Fuck this. But let me try something else. So then you go back into spring. Okay, I'm in my new bitch era. I'm gonna try something else now. Yay, I'm so excited. Everything is awesome. Awesome, great. Woo! Wait, but this sucks. Nothing's working. I'm so tired. Whose idea was this anyway? Screw this, I'm out of here. I'm thinking of a lot of memes right now when I make this face. So let me try something else. Yay, I'm so excited. Is this you? It was me. Is this you? So if it's you, that's okay, because we all go through it. But is this you? That's exactly me. I got here called out right now. I got wow, feeling springy, then I allowed myself to get affected by negative external stuff and got wintry. So yeah, that could be it. I mean, that's this right here, right? Maybe for you, Nami, it wasn't nothing's working. It was just like, oop, I got hit with some life. Some life hit me. And now I'm like, then screw this, I'm out of here. So let me try something else. And then boom, boom, boom. This is what I call seasonal business depression, the vicious cycle of spring fever to winter blues. Please pause for a note from our sponsors. If you suffer from seasonal business depression, call 1-800-AMELIA-1. Just kidding, that's not a real number, but you can DM me. So here are some seasonal business depression tips. I'm going to go through them, and I know CJ, you have some ideas for diving deeper in. But what I want to highlight here, summer and fall are super important. Do not skip these. We're going to go into those, but likely you have been skipping some summer and fall. So you want to riff on these, CJ? What some tips for the winter, spring fever, winter blues, seasonal business depression cycle?
I just have to say, I love the seasonal business depression terminology. Like, yes, we have a name for it, and we've been needing this for so long. And it is so real. That burnout is real. And that was kind of what I was speaking to when I was talking about how we don't want to run into things too fast. Because while it feels so good to get that springtime energy, and we need that, and that's important for our business, it's also something where if we don't have the right systems in place, then we can burn out so quickly. And that's when that winter blues piece sets in. And so I just have to say that, like, personally for me, that was probably the first 3, almost 4 years of my business, was trying to figure out why I kept getting those ideas, getting these huge highs, and then totally plummeting. And what I learned throughout all of that, I have to say, like, I'm really grateful for those periods of time, because one piece that I learned was that, oh, okay, like, that's when that real idea of seasons started to hit me. And it was like, you know what? This energy is important, But like Amelia is saying, I was skipping out on the summer and the fall. I wasn't honoring that natural cycle of things. And so what I ended up doing was figuring out, okay, when it comes to my marketing, because that's really where my expertise lies, is figuring out like, how am I going to market during these different parts to make sure that it's supporting the whole. Winter time, and I don't know right now, is this a good time to kind of go into that, Amelia, or should I?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Yep.
great. So with winter, when I was speaking to that connection piece, the first thing I want you to start thinking about is the people that you're working with in your business. A lot of times we get very self-centered in our businesses, and we think about all of the things that we can offer. And if we're not seeing the money come in, we're like, okay, what do I need to do to get the money going? Do I need to make a new program? Do I need to up my prices? Do I need to do all these things? And we forget to ask what people need. So during that winter season, if we're going to talk realistically, winter, right, the holiday season, this is a time where people need support. This is also a time where people are spending a lot of money, and they're getting sucked into the whole capitalistic holiday thing, and they are going to need support in the form of, help me figure out how I'm going to rebuild after all of this. And it really depends on your business. I was kind of asking some of the people in the chat earlier what kind of businesses you have, but you either have a business where you can offer support in the form of helping them get a tool that they need, or maybe you offer support in the form of coaching, maybe you offer support in the form of body work, spiritual work, whatever that might be. You want to make sure that you can be there as a pillar for your people. And so when it comes to things like email marketing, for example, this is where I think it's really important to look at how you're building your connections and how you're nurturing your community. So nurture looks like, are you sending out your emails consistently? And in those emails, instead of bombarding people with sales and promotion, are you giving them tools? Are you sharing value with them? Are you helping them solve mini problems and letting them know that you're there to support with the bigger ones? Things like that are going to help you deepen the connection with your audience, and they are going to keep you as top of mind when that money does start to roll back in the late spring, when it is time for them to be able to actually spend again. And so that's one of those things where if you know that that's coming, it doesn't catch you off guard. If you know that there's going to be times where that winter season comes, you can say, okay, I know how to prepare for this. Another piece about winter
Can I tag something there too, just real quick, because I know we also have artists. I know there's a musician in here, actress in here, and so I want to pull out and like connect the dots a bit for what that could mean, and also even for me as like a mini social media micro influencer. Honoring that season when I'm not able to like give a tool and all this stuff, I just like, show my life, like that connection that you're talking about. I'm thinking of you, Cam. I'm thinking of you, Ra, where it's like, what's up, y'all? This is what's happening. I'm going on auditions. Or, Cam, I know I haven't released a song yet, but like, just kind of creating that connection. Is that what you mean too? Like if we were to take it to someone who's like not a coach, or, or not yet a coach, I don't know what your goals are, but yeah.
Yeah. And that actually leads into what I was just about to say, which is this is a time to build leads. And so in marketing, leads is just a term we use to say to bring more people into your community. And so you might be thinking about, okay, what are the ways that I can actually get out there? And like Amelia was saying, maybe that just means you're showing up on lives a lot more during this time and offering that live support to your community. You might create an event and you might say, all right, I want to put together maybe a 5-day challenge or something like that, where people can come together in community because they're craving that during this time. But this is also an opportunity for you to build your email list. And so you have those people to communicate with. This is an opportunity to say, okay, I know that in spring I'm going to be launching something. So instead of bombarding people with promotion right now, I'm just going to start trying to draw as many people in as I can. And that helps to support you when you get into that springtime aspect of your business. And so, taking it back to metaphorical, for those of you who are like, I'm just in winter right now, I would say to you, what are some ways that you can just start to connect with your community? Because once you start to connect with people, you're going to get that inspiration around what people need, or you're going to start finding people that you can collaborate with. That's how I found Amelia. I was in a winter phase in my own business, and I was like, well, I just want to connect. I just want to collaborate. And here we are, And so you never know where other people are going to take you. And that's why it's so important to really focus on that connection aspect during this time. And it'll uplift your spirits because, we need each other for that. And then when you get into that spring section, you can start thinking, okay, I'm in my launch space. Now, this is where you take it slow. Instead of just saying, I've got this idea and I'm just going to throw it out there, take a step back, breathe. I always like to have like maybe one friend that I talk to about my ideas, and then I nest it. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure that I'm really just being gentle with this and caring for it until it's ready to really put out there and shine the spotlight on. And that looks like, am I planning out what emails I'm going to send for my launch? Am I planning out the structure? Am I knowing, okay, this is going to be the awareness time. So during this time, I'm building some awareness. This is going to be when I actually start to launch and share the idea, or even before you even start thinking about marketing, just getting clear on the offer. Every aspect of it. Do you know it inside and out to the point that where someone asks you what it is, you can just tell them and really bring them in? So getting clear on that offer suite and buyer journey, so important. And once you get there, then you can say, all right, it's time to launch.
Oh, so good. I took off the screen share because I wanted to create just more intimacy and highlight your face and while we were talking. But then I noticed you started talking about some of the stuff. So I was like, oh, let me pull it back up again. Yeah, that I think definitely whenever I teach this again, I'll say alignment and connection, because that was a great reminder for me, right? When we're in that winter blues, spring fever, vicious cycle, we try to remedy the winter blues with the spring fever. And that's where it's like, I need to launch something. I need to when winter is about connection, right? So if you're in a phase now where you're either not getting any clients or not getting any work, or you're still writing your music or you're still building your offers, it's like, get out there, start connecting with people. I love that. That's such a great reminder. And that is one of the ways, I think that is a tip that can help you reconnect with that vision and why.
Yeah. And I just want to add there too, because sometimes that connection can be intimidating. So it doesn't have to be a lead generation event. Like it doesn't have to be big. It can be reach out to someone for a coffee date too.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Like that I did forget to say that, like without the pressure of it needing to be a sale or like something that elevates your business, And I will say during some wintry seasons in my business, I still had my long-term clients, and just connecting with them, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this, So really, really great. I just keep looking at the time because I want to make sure everyone gets what they need. Any questions or comments about that before we go into summer? So again, one of the best ways, just contextually, to deal with and heal, move through seasonal business depression is do not skip summer and fall. They're very important. So summer is all about you're ready to build. So for those of my spring fever, winter blue addicts, right? You're avoiding the building part. The building part that builds what you're trying to do to last. And I feel like this is going to be a lot more CJ's wheelhouse than mine. So I'm just going to go through my bullets real quick, and I just can't wait to hear what you have to say. So you're ready to build, make the choice. You're realizing you've been stuck in seasonal business depression, spring fever, winter blues, gang. And you're like, I need to stop that, because it's driving me crazy and it's lowering my self-esteem. and it's not supporting, so I'm ready to build something that lasts. You're ready to commit to the long haul and nurture your business to 6 figures and beyond. Is this you? Are you ready? Are you ready and willing to commit to stopping the cycle of seasonal business depression and building something to last? Because if you are ready, then your summer focus is, now I hate these words, but we're going to replace them. Okay. So I'm going to use the toxic capitalist patriarchal words of it: discipline and consistency. But of course, with the caveat of what CJ said, like, consistency doesn't have to look the way toxic capitalist consistency needs to look, which, by the way, next week, CJ and I will be back. We'll be talking about unpacking toxic capitalism and building a business that lasts. That's next week. Anyway, just a little seed there. So I like to call it nurturing. I like to call it loving, because when you're in that seasonal business depression, spring fever, winter blues, vicious cycle, it's very rushy. Spring, rushy. Let's do it. Let's, I gotta make money. Oh my God, this sucks. I'm so depressed, blah, blah, blah. It's, where's the nurturing? Where's the love? Where's the, I'm building the house that my children will live in brick by brick with love. Throw some 90s R&B on if it makes you feel fancy, right? So make the decision to stop seasonal business depression and get out of the vicious spring fever, winter blues cycle. Commit to a strategy that will help you nurture and grow your business consistently. And as always, my recommendation is going to be, because look, when I try to do my stuff alone, it just doesn't work. So I'm always going to recommend finding coach, mentor, healer, teacher, whatever, who can help guide you. Because I know for me, when I'm in spring fever, winter blues, I'm like, what do I focus on and when? Because I don't know, right? So someone who can help you with what to focus on and when, to avoid that frustration, stress, or overwhelm. Because summer is not easy. Summer is hot. You're building brick by brick in the high noon sun. So it requires that commitment and that nurturing and that love. So some summer tips. These were some of your points. I'll pass it on to you, CJ.
So with summer, I always kind of like to think about it from a couple of perspectives. One is that this is the time where you can allow that spotlight to shine on you. I always think that summer is a great time for speaking gigs. And if you look and you notice, there's a lot of summits that happen during the summertime. There's a lot of events and things like that. So if you're someone who in your business, a big way that you market is through live events, this is a great time to get out there and do that. And another piece about summer is that, so after the springtime, after you launch, you're now in this place where you might actually be teaching. If you have an online course or something like that you launch, you might have an influx of new people in your community. And so I love how Amelia changed that to, this is the time to nurture, because this is where you want to make sure that you are staying connected with those new people, that you're building that relationship with them. And so when it comes to email marketing, for example, that's where your emails are also going to be really important. And so it doesn't mean that you're not still building leads during this time. I think it's always important to have something in the background, something of value that you can give for free that people can use to sign up and get on an email list for you. But also, how are you supporting people during this time? Are you making sure that you're keeping them in the loop around the events that you're doing? Once again, and this is just all year round, but making sure you're sharing value through your emails. So maybe you're including them on the behind the scenes of your business and what's going on in your life, and how it connects to them, and how you're maybe pulling some teachable moments for them. Maybe you have a more education-based business, and so you're just helping people with that information. But just how can you nurture your community? How can you stay connected with them? And then also looking at, instead of throwing gasoline on your own fire, can you feed it a little bit, And so this is where automation comes in for me, because early summer, we got a lot of energy. We're still riding on that springtime vibe. But then late summer is lazy summer, and it's hot. The sun is high. It's just like, I just don't want to. It's too hot. Don't touch me. I don't want to. So what I think is really supportive during that time is automating your emails. And that's why, we're going to talk about fall, and I'll give you some tips there. But I think like knowing the whole kind of map ahead of what is that journey for your customer? What are your offers? What are you promoting next? What is it really important that you want to make sure is in their awareness? And then having emails that support that so that you can automate them and take them on that journey while you go and, camp or chill by the lake or by the pool or, have some spicy marks with your friends.
I love that. And also too, if you don't have an email list yet, you can also, well, what I would always suggest to have one, start building one, but this could also, everything CJ is saying could also relate to like social media posts, right? Or even just word of mouth. Like, what are your summertime activities? I just thought of you, Cam, you had a bunch of shows, right? And so you're like in that vibe of like, I'm building something and I'm nurturing my people. How have you been nurturing your audiences, the people that have bought your music or come to your shows and things like that? So yeah, it could also relate to social media or even just, word of mouth posting. But speaking of email automation and social media automation, CJ, I'm hosting it, I'm facilitating it, but CJ will be teaching inside Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy and Email Marketing Masterclass 2-part series where, part 1, she will go into that lead generation, bringing people in, how to welcome them into your community, into your home. And then the 4 phases of email marketing, which I feel like probably do align with the 4 seasons. Would you say, CJ? Somewhat?
I mean, they definitely can. I will say it includes nurturing, it includes that welcome aspect when you're bringing people in and connecting. And so, yeah, it kind of can align with that too.
And this is great for you if you do have an email list for sure. And I'm assuming, I guess I should ask, like they can also apply these concepts to like social media posting as well, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And you'll be getting what is it called? Authentic Marketing Toolkit. Did I get it right?
The Authentic Email Marketing Toolkit, which is just a toolkit of over 20 templates you can use to write those emails, because a lot of times that's the part that gets us stuck. So I created a tool to help you with that.
I love that. And if you are in EMA, it is free for you. So you're already enrolled. But if you're not in EMA and you want to come, it's just $147 for this 2-part series. And you will have lifetime access to the recordings, and you will get that authentic email marketing toolkit. So if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. Scan this QR code. If you're unable to scan it for whatever reason, send me a DM. Actually, no, I'll pop the link in there. Is there anything else you want to say about the class that can just give people more context while I pull that link up?
Sure, yeah. So it's going to be something where if you've ever been confused about what is a lead magnet for starters, what can I do to really bring people in? How do I know what to put out there that's going to get people on my list? This is where you're going to learn about that. But I'm also going to take you a step further and help you figure out how to support people after they get on your list. A lot of times people will have a list and they never email them. So I'm going to give you a lot of tips on how you can do that. And then in part 2, we're going even deeper into that so you can understand how you write emails that actually sell and don't just overwhelm, but they sell, they build awareness, they nurture, and they support your community.
I'm excited. I know I'm going to learn a lot from you. So, and I know I'm just looking at the time. Are you okay to hang on, CJ, for a little bit?
Yeah. So we will be hopping over on Instagram very soon, but I think it's really important to just touch on fall really quick and make sure we wrap it up with all the seasons so that you don't feel like you're heading anywhere.
So certainly last but not least, we have fall. So fall, how do you know you're in fall? A cycle is complete. What does that mean? Likely you've just completed a launch, or, if you're an artist, you've just had a show, you did all this promotion and all this preparation, and then you had the show, and now you're back at home and you're like, woo, right? Or you've just completed another type of cycle, a life cycle. Maybe you just moved, changed jobs, broke up with someone, or a business cycle. You finished a package with a client or a group of clients. You just finished setting something up, your website, your social media bio, your email sequence that CJ is going to teach you how to do. Maybe you just finished deciding what your signature offer is going to be. Basically, you've completed something. And most people skip fall and go straight to spring again. Like, you just did a show or you just completed a cycle with a client. What's the next thing? Because we live in this toxic capitalistic hustle, productivity is your worthiness culture. And so we don't actually allow ourselves to do what fall is really for, which is to celebrate. Isn't that nice? Celebrate. So is this you? Have you ever completed a cycle of life, of something, and you just jumped onto the next thing because we live in a hustle culture? If this is you, me too. I get to remind myself of this all the time. Now, it can feel like, okay, celebrate, like, yay, woohoo, right? But don't slip. Don't sleep on the celebration. Doing something that ritualizes and honors the completion of what you have accomplished will really set that into your DNA and rewire your codes to be able to receive more of that, because our brain wants more of that good feeling. So if you give yourself permission to feel the good feeling, ooh, I just did a business boot camp. I don't know what I'm gonna do next, but I know I survived it. So let me celebrate that. Let me have a cup of tea, put on some fuzzy socks, and celebrate. Take some time off, visualize yourself sitting on your throne, or bonus, get a fucking crown and sit on an actual throne. Like, I did that. I'll tell you, every time I set up something, like after I set up this presentation, I was like, I did that shit. Okay. Right? And do something fun with the money you made. I'm not saying blow it all on something crazy, but you get to do that. I know for me, when I would keep skipping fall, I just kept pouring the money I made back into the business. And it was like, of course, I'm not building a lifestyle, a business that supports my lifestyle, because I'm not actually having it support my lifestyle. Right? So any tips you want to add about fall?
I want to speak to another energy that comes up in fall that we tend to not really think about. And while yes, it's really exciting and it's important to celebrate what you've already done, there's also this energy of fatigue that can set in after you've done something really big. There's this energy, and I almost equate it to like postpartum, where you've birthed something huge and now you're kind of in this place of like, what do I do next? Like, where do I go from here? Mm-hmm. And what I invite you to do during this time is to regroup as well. So after you've celebrated, like, allow yourself to receive your flowers. That is incredibly important. And then start to pull yourself back together. It's a really good time to assess what worked and what didn't. What did you love and what do you feel like you didn't love so much and maybe you want to shift or pivot from? And then also looking at, what is the plan moving forward? I also think about going back to school during this time, which we're all like, physically we're here right now, where it's like we're wrapping up summer and it's maybe going to be time to learn something new for yourself. So this is a really good time to build on your skills. It's a good time to, if you don't have emails in place, it's a good time to think about, okay, what are the emails that I'm going to be sending out coming up throughout the next cycle? If you do, and if you have a funnel set up, which if you don't, come to the masterclass, we're going to hook you up with how you can do that. Then looking at your funnels and saying, do I need to change some things? Maybe also connecting with people that you've been working with and just asking for their feedback and their reviews and putting that in with your plans moving forward.
Oh, so good. Thank you for bringing that in. That is absolutely a powerful energy of the fall. And speaking of skipping celebration, a lot of times when people don't skip the fall, they still skip the celebration part and they go right into the assessment, which can then be like this beat up of like, oh man, and I do this all the time. I have to catch myself all the time. Like I remember I was coming home from an event and Cam was like, so how was it? And my brain literally wanted to launch into all the things that went wrong and that didn't happen correctly. And I was like, wait, let me not do that. And I was able to shift my energy into that celebration phase. And so then when I went into the assessment phase that CJ is talking about, it was truly honoring all of who I was and the work that I did. And that's what the fall really is about. It's about honoring the work that you've done, even if you haven't like made the money yet, like regardless of the external results, there's a lot of internal results that you get to celebrate as well. So thank you so much for bringing that in. So let's just review real quick. I know we're a little bit over time, but just something to leave you with. And this is the QR code to come to the masterclass. And I'll drop the link again to come because you're going to get your templates. We're going to dive much deeper into the how-tos and the what-tos and the when-tos in that with these seasons, specifically with nurturing your clients, your prospects, etc. But really ask yourself, and this is a great question to ask at any moment of the day. Like if you're feeling some kind of way, what season are you in right now? And based on that, what is your focus going to be? If it's wintry, we need some quiet time. We need some love. We need some TLC, right? So if it's springtime, it's like, okay, let's experiment. If it's summer, it's like, okay, let me not get addicted to spring fever and let me focus on building these blocks. And during these times, what support do you need, and who can you ask for that support from? And of course, come to our email marketing class. And notice too how these seasons all like weave into each other, because even as CJ started talking about that late fall assessment, it was going into that going within, right? And once you've gone within and you've let go and you've released and you've assessed and you've nurtured and connected with yourself, then it's like, oh, now I can go back out again in spring. And now I have all these new ideas. Okay, this is what I want to do. Then I build the building blocks in the summer. And then when I've built something, even a small win, you can do some fall. You can celebrate and assess. Any last review tips or things you want to say, CJ, with the end of this class?
So I just want to say that when you are able to really understand this, it builds a sense of compassion for yourself and for your journey with your business, and also this beautiful level of trust. Like you get to this place where you're like, you know what? No season lasts forever. So for those of you who are in that winter place right now, hopefully after this training, you're feeling more like, okay, winter doesn't last forever. Spring will come. And after spring, I know exactly what to do. I know that I need to honor that summer and fall season. And I know what to do during those times so that I can, get where I need to go. And also I will anticipate that winter will come again. And so what am I going to do to prepare for that? So I hope that that's what this training has done for you. And also Amelia and I, after this, we're going to be hopping on to Instagram Live to talk more about our own personal experiences with these seasons. We went into it a little bit, but we're going to go into it a lot more. And hopefully you can come and join us and just, hear how we navigate the different seasons in our lives and in our businesses.
Oh, thank you so much, CJ. Yeah, we're going to hop on Instagram Live now. I just want to honor you for being here. Please come to our class, or if there's any follow-up questions you have, my DMs are open on either Facebook or Instagram, facebook.com/Amelia Eiley, Instagram.com/The Amelia Fortes. CJ is at Simply Healthy Marketing on Instagram. And I would just love to honor some of the comments here. Cam overall reflections and takeaways. Actually, do you want to just say something real quick, Cam? Are you able to? It's okay if you're not. This is okay. So Cam says, I've struggled with the feeling like I have to rush my creative process and produce stuff, music in your case, for the sake of being consistent. Yes, that gem from CJ right at the beginning, she hit us hot with the good stuff. But now I realize being consistent with my business is so much more than just the music. I can grow my business and community without feeling like I have to release a new song every day, every week. Oh, so good. I'm really looking forward to the 2-part series in EMA because I don't know shit about email lists and marketing. Oh, so good. So good. Yes, CJ is going to drop all the gems and give templates and all kinds of good stuff. I love it. I have a page full of notes. Thank you for this. You're welcome. You're welcome. And hop on Instagram Live if you can. Slide into my DMs if you'd like to. Would love to welcome you to the email marketing class, and maybe even EMA if you want some more longer term support. So thank you for being here. We'll be back next week talking about toxic capitalism. Thank you, CJ. I honor you so much. I honor those of you who are here live and those of you on the replay. Catch you again. Bye.
See you later. Thank you.
How do I end this?